he is. I mean,
Okay.
His truck was out front.
Yeah, really?
I thought I heard it. You want me to go check him? No, seriously, I'm gonna go check it.
Oh, good.
Private.
The Honorable Mayor, welcome.
Hello. How are you? Very good, man. Very good to see you. That's great. So y'all got some conflict with the city council in San Antonio and the mayor. And it's like, it's about like 5. Great start. That's right.
Fourth of July. So there's 3, 4. Are we good? Are we on?
Yes.
Oh, we are, okay. Good deal, all right. I call this meeting of the Young County Commissioners Court to order. Let the record show it is 9:32 a.m. 4 of the 5 members of the court are present. We're streaming live on YouTube, and if you're watching and you'd like to call in and make a comment, you may call in on 940-221-2107. If you're able, please stand for an invocation and pledges. Commissioner Riley has the honors.
Let's pray. Father, we come before you today. We just want to say thank you, Father. We say thank you for this opportunity to serve in this capacity, Father. Father, we just ask today, Father, as we do the county's business, we ask, Father, that you be present, your Holy Spirit. And Father, we ask today, Father, that you be with our first responders, be with our men overseas that are fighting for freedom, Father. We just ask that you be with them by the land, by air, and by water, Father. Be with the President and the military leaders, Father, as they make decisions, Father. Give them the wisdom to make those decisions, Father. Father, go with us today and guide, direct us. Father, be with those who lost their loved ones, those that are sick around us, Father. I pray that your hand be upon them. Forgive us, Father, we failed you. We love you and we praise you. We ask this in your precious name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Jimmy. Hey, Stacy. All right, we'll move to item number 3, announcements and presentations. I'd like to make one announcement that the Eliasville Volunteer Fire Department is having their annual crawfish boil this Saturday, March 28th at the Bend. 5:30 p.m. is the start, $25 a plate. I went last year, the food was excellent. We also have the receipt of the hotel occupancy tax report for $3,809.51. That's for February of 2026 from the Wildcatter Ranch LLC. Do we have any other announcements? We'll move into open comments or public comments. Shannon?
Yes. I'm here to thank y'all and to thank all the volunteer fire department that came to a fire that was on my place. It started on my place. Come to find out, even if you do everything right, things can happen. We had a standing tree that had a knot hole that had gotten fire in it. That's what caused the fire. It just sparks and 40-mile-an-hour wind. The county came out. Stacy called me when I was en route from Jacksboro to the fire. He had the dozer running, the water truck running, the volunteer fire departments, Loving, Salt Creek, Newcastle, Almy. I was standing guard at 380 and 2075 when the Graham Fire Department showed up to put out a second fire that was not a part of this one. So I just wanted to give y'all a thank you for the county and what they do. They had the dozer out there running, we had a dozer running, all the fire trucks that were there hosing everything down. And a lot of prayer went into it not crossing 2075 to where there were houses. The men and women that do the volunteer fire departments, they need to be thanked, they need to be supported. And then also the county crew that came out, I wanted to thank y'all also. So I'm giving y'all a thank.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Stacy, precinct hands were out there. We had really good turnout, and I think it's another testament to how important that county dozer is that we have, because waiting on a state asset to come, there's no telling how long it would take, but cutting those fire lines made a huge difference. So
We
thank you,
wouldn't have
Shannon.
got it without the dozers.
Yeah, those
It
are,
was huge. We had a dozer there, but our dozer isn't as big. And so
Yeah.
it was, and they knew how to do all that better.
The state was called, and they said it'd be there in 2 hours.
yeah,
Then they called back and said, we ain't coming.
yeah. Well, I mean, with the wind and everything, there was a lot. And Jared, you missed it. We just were talking about you. And you, I mean, 9:30 every time. It's always at 9:30.
I'm always here at like 9:37. Consistency matters.
All right, Phil? Phil was here.
I don't have anything.
Okay. Good deal. That's everybody who signed up for public comments. We'll move into item number 5. Consider the county clerk's minutes from the previous meeting, March 9th of 2026. I think we all saw that last week, I hope.
Yes.
Any thoughts?
The changes you made, other than that, I didn't really find a whole lot that, I wasn't here at the first start of it, so it's gonna have to be somebody else's opinion on that
Yeah.
after that.
The changes you made were very well.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I'll make that motion.
We'll make a motion. So we have a motion from Commissioner Wiley. Do we have a second? We have a second from Commissioner Craig. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. And hope that's not me.
That was me.
I am. That's for Connecticut, would you answer it?
Scott, will you start it off for me? Thanks. All right, we'll move to item number 6. Consider the treasurer's financial report update on securities pledge. Treasurer Milo.
So pursuant from our previous meeting, I don't know if you have this in cash position as of today, and I think the commissioner should have one. But we did move some money from our general fund into the pool.
Good.
So, into Techstar Logic,
Okay.
and added some more Texas class. I only moved $2 million. I don't know if you want. One thing we haven't done is with Investar, who is Investar now, First National Bank, Wichita Falls, which does our equipment financing, and so I propose moving some money there, and it kind of offsets the interest that we're paying
Yeah.
on our.
It's liquid. You can get it out within 2
Well,
3 days, right?
Yeah, but you have limited transactions. The number of transactions are limited, but there are going to be, I'll visit with.
Limited per month? Or
Yes,
per month? Okay.
Limited per month, I think maybe six transactions. But it'll be secured, FDIC secured, because they're going through like an IntraFi where they'll be broken up into $250,000 increments, but they'll be secured by FDIC. I'll check that out and make sure that's still the way it's working since they've been taken over.
I think that's right. It's very, very big corporation.
Yeah,
I would think we want to move a little bit more. $7 million is still a lot.
yeah. We're gonna
Yeah, I think
might
we
make
should
a
move
couple-
some more.
Maybe a couple million, maybe.
Yeah, let's,
Now, the other issue on your, maybe should visit with you, with the commissioners, but each of you have a little money market fund, and you're just not making any money in that. Don't know if y'all want, if y'all want to keep it that way, or we could put those into accounts within Texas Class or one of the pools, and it'll gain a lot more interest. It'll be sitting there with the same amount, and it'll be liquid just like the money market is. But, you're not getting, but you're getting like 1.3% maybe, I don't know. And the pool are getting 3.78 right now, so, that's something we might want to think about. I mean, y'all aren't getting about $100 a month.
I would think each one of y'all would get with him individual and kind of tell him how comfortable you are with how much to put over there, because, it's a pretty wide difference between what everyone has.
That's all I have for today.
Okay, thank you, Kyle, appreciate that. Any questions for Treasurer Mullin? If not, we'll move into consider the auditor's budget amendments and vouchers payable. Ms. Roberts? Always.
So total today is $175,751.36, and out of the general fund is $150,852.45. There is Don's butane included. The only really big ticket item, we paid Young Central Appraisal $73,711. That's the only really big thing.
Is that the,
That's our second quarter.
yeah, that's because we do it 4 times, right?
So moved.
All right, so motion from Commissioner Cresswell, is there a second?
Got a shorts on there too, right? Oh, there's not.
No,
It wasn't a Sunday.
I think I thought she took that out.
Oh, we signed it in there.
Yeah, that was that other one that she ran, the others.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there is a Schutz in there? No Schutz in there. All right, second from Commissioner Craig. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes 4-0-1 with Commissioner Wiley abstaining. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Item 8, discuss and consider employee bonds. We have Chase Banks, an assistant auditor at $5,000. I'm very concerned that that's not
He
enough.
needs more than that putting up with us.
So moved.
Robbie Scott Wallace, adult probation, $5,000, and Melissa K. Martin, adult probation, $5,000. Got a motion from Commissioner Wiley, a second from Commissioner Shook. All in favor? Any opposed? That passes 5-0. All right, item number 9, discuss and consider a proclamation by the Young County Commissioners Court of Young County, Texas, in support of the Stars and Stripes celebration in Young County on July 4th of 2026. We have David Pratt here to talk about it. Hey, David, how are you?
Good morning, sir. I'm well. And you?
Well, thanks.
Just a minute while we
Please.
look that up.
You bet.
I am going to use your table here. to keep
You may.
this on. And we're going to project the PowerPoint up there, but I will go ahead and start.
Okay.
First thing is, thank you, Commissioner, Judge, for letting us come today and have this time on your calendar. We are here because July 4th, 2026 will be the United States semi-quincentennial. And there's going to be a test at the end of this to see how many times you can say that fast. It's been 250 years since 56 men approved our Declaration of Independence. Those men risked everything, including life itself. And they founded this great nation. With me today, I'm David Pratt. The judge introduced me. With me is Adam Levine. I know all of you know Adam. And Jordan Rogers, who's with Chaparral Creative. And also Kim Birdwell is here. Kim is on our committee as well. Kim is the president of the Chamber of the Kiwanis. And we're working to put this, I think that's the last one. Can you get to the third one? We're a 501c3, dedicated 501c3, that's sole purpose in life is the 4th of July celebrations, and it is all done by willing volunteers. Now, and go to the next one, please. All of us, every man, woman, and child in this room, in this town, in this county, has won the lottery of life. We live in the United States. We were all born on third base. And none of us hit a triple. We stand on the shoulders of the people who went before us. And our founding fathers stood on the shoulders of those before them. But our founding fathers in particular relied upon, depending upon which one of them was talking or writing, relied upon God, providence, Christ himself. And Benjamin Franklin, at the Second Continental Congress, stood up and said, and by the way, the Second Continental Congress was the gathering at which our Constitution and our Bill of Rights were written. And Franklin stood up and said, in the beginning of the contest with Great Britain, when we were all sensible of danger, we had daily prayer. Our prayers were heard and graciously answered. I have lived a long time, and the longer I live, the more convincing proofs I see of this truth, that God governs in the affairs of men. Now, there are some examples of answered prayer that are fairly compelling. And I will begin with an example that occurred about 2 months after the Declaration was approved. George Washington was in New York on Long Island, and he was facing an overwhelming British invasion force. The largest armada, invasion armada, up until that point in time in history. 400 vessels with 32,000 well-trained British troops, supplemented by Hessian mercenaries. And Washington had an army of 8,000 to 9,000. They were ill-trained and poorly equipped, and he was outgeneraled that day. And General Howe trapped him on Long Island between the East River and the British. And Washington faced certain annihilation. And our revolution, our nation, would have been done for right there. The British naval armada was at anchor, and it was tied up because of fierce winds. It couldn't lift anchor. And the fact is, the winds were also disturbing the East River so badly that there was no way to get across it until something happened. The winds continued to blow on the British Armada, but the East River calmed down, and Washington began an evacuation of his 9,000 men by road across the East River. And it was taking so long that the sun came up and they were in full view of British sentries. But a fog settled, and the fog was as thick as a blanket and blocked the British sentries' view, and that Washington was able to complete his evacuation and eventually whip the British at Yorktown. Now, I don't know about you, but strange things happening with water and a thick fog reminds me of the story in the 14th chapter of Exodus. But that's not the last thing that has happened. If you come fast forward to the Battle of Midway, the Japanese were riding a wind streak. They had bombed Pearl Harbor. They had the most imposing navy in the Pacific. They had better planes in their Zeros, and their pilots were combat honed. Yet we intercepted them in a surprise attack at Midway and sunk those 4 carriers. Now, historians call the series of events that occurred improbable, coincidental, lucky. And if something happens once, it's luck. If it happens twice, it might be coincidence. If it happens 3 times, it's improbable, most certainly. But if it happens over and over and over again, I think we should refer back to what Mr. Franklin said in Second Continental Congress. Now, the Battle of Long Island and the Battle of Midway are not the only 2 challenges that America has faced through the years. We're facing one today. We're doing battle with a regime that would do away with our way of life. And it's not the first time we've done it. The untold numbers of men and women that have served, that have sacrificed, often greatly, they deserve to have their service recognized publicly and have thanks given publicly for what they do and what they've done. Now, go to the next one. On July 4th of this year, we're going to have a community prayer service at 8 o'clock. We're going to have a military honors ceremony at 9 o'clock and a parade at 10 o'clock. The Kiwanis will be serving pancakes throughout, as they always do. But I will say that the Kiwanis are also going to have a floating parade. The parade will this year be bigger and better than it's ever been, partly because it's the 250th anniversary, partly because it's countywide. And if it's not, it won't be from lack of effort. Now, we need you to make it all it can be. You are the elected representatives of Young County. You are the leaders of Young County. And we need you. We need you to get involved. I don't care if it's where you go to church, if it's the civic clubs you belong to, if it's where you shop, if it's the schools your kids attend. Everybody needs to be encouraged to participate, to come and assemble on July 4th on the courthouse lawn and to celebrate the fact that we are all Americans, individual differences aside. Now, we're going to ask some of you for things in particular. We may ask all of you for something in particular. We've asked Judge Graham to give us a proclamation. We've asked, and we will ask Judge Graham to sign the certificates for the veteran honorees, including, I might add, some World War II veterans a group that is fast patching. And we want you to like us on your Facebook pages. The network effects help, and if for whatever reason you don't know how to do it, I've never been on a Facebook page in my life, but Jordan knows all about it, she can tell you all about it. Go to the next. And we want you all to donate. We want you all to donate. This doesn't happen for free. We want all of you to donate, and I don't want any of you to think that we're gonna limit the amount of your donation. We'll take any amount, but we won't put a lid or a cap on what you can do. Now, in closing, I will just leave it with what's on the slide. We ask respectfully for your help honoring our past, celebrating our present, and inspiring our future. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anybody have any questions? Thank you, sir.
Let me read the proclamation that I'm going to propose that we execute. It's titled, "A Proclamation by the Young County Commissioners Court of Young County, Texas. Whereas July 4th, 2026 will be America's semi-quincentennial, the 250th anniversary of America's Declaration of Independence." It is very hard to say. And whereas the Declaration of Independence states certain truths to be self-evident, specifically that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And whereas, following America's Revolutionary War, President George Washington, encouraged by Congress, issued a proclamation designating a day of public prayer to thank God for the nation's safety and its Constitution. And whereas, through the years, America has faced numerous challenges. Many from Young County have died defending the American ideal. Many more have fought for it, and more still are serving it now. All the men and women who have defended America's principles deserve honor, remembrance, and thanks. And whereas all in Young County enjoy blessings and benefits derived from living in America, specifically including the aforementioned right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Now, therefore, may everyone in Young County, Bunger, Ellisville, Farmer, Graham, Loving, Jean, Markley, Murray, Newcastle, Olney, South Bend, and everywhere in between, assemble July 4th, 2026 at the Young County Courthouse to give thanks, humbly seeking God's continued protection and provision, acknowledge those who have and are defending America, and proudly celebrate America's semi-quincentennial, celebrate as a community, as one nation under God, in witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of Young County to be affixed this 23rd day of March of 2026. And I have a place for everyone to sign. Do we have a motion to approve this proclamation?
So moved.
Well, I'll say everybody made a motion. Does everybody second?
Absolutely.
All right, all in favor? All right, motion passes 5-0. Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Can I get you guys to sign this? Item number 10, a presentation on a request for the county to participate in the petitioner-initiated Olney TERS number 1. We have David Earl, who's an attorney representing the city of Olney, and we have Mayor, you're representing the developer.
Correct.
And then we have Mayor Rue Rogers here from the city of Olney to make a presentation on this.
Thank you. Judge, Commissioner Dave Earl, and I'm humbled to follow that presentation and the proclamation on the same. Also
council, very grateful that we're part of this great country. Before you is several documents. First one is a PowerPoint presentation that's put together, and I can walk through that relatively quick. I respect for your time. The second is a timeline that shows you where this project is at and the steps that need to be taken to get it fully completed and bring the economic benefit to the city of Olney and to Young County. And there's also a copy of a draft interlocal agreement that represents the request by the city and the developer for the county to participate in this project. That being said, I'll start with the PowerPoint presentation. I encourage y'all to please stop me if you have any questions so we can dive into whatever it is you have a question about. Now, I know y'all considered another action item on TERS recently, but this one's a little different. The one you considered previously was a city-initiated TERS, and this is a property owner-initiated TERS. So same statute, just a little bit different way of occurring. But what is a TERS? The TERS, for the benefit of those of you who don't know, you probably do, but also the audience, is an economic development tool created by the state of Texas. And it allows, under Chapter 311, allows for taxes created by new development, and only new development in a specified area, for some of those taxes to be put into a fund and actually used to bring about economic development, pay for infrastructure, things like affordable housing and housing affordability programs, to help people realize the dream of owning their own home. And it's a very powerful tool, and it's widely used in the state. There's a biannual report that the state does as far as TERS, and in 2023, there are about 477 TERS created. Over 205 cities created them throughout the state. And as of that date, there was over $44.9 billion of economic development investment created by the use of this tool. So it's well established and it's well known. And those particular improvements have resulted in over $143 billion of additional infrastructure and tax base for those taxing entities in those communities. So what this tool does, if you go to the next slide, what is taxing regional financing? The TERS, you hear that term, is the actual zone, taxing or reinvestment zone, that is created by a city or a county in a specified area. And then the TIF, or tax increment financing, is the financing mechanism that happens in that zone, by which that zone has a base value on the year it's created, and then the additional increment or captured value of ad valorem taxes grown up in that zone during a period of time in which the TERS are placed, all or a part of that is dedicated to a special fund in partnership. The tax entities come together and help fund improvements and make a difference to bring about jobs and economic development in the community. Cities and counties can do it alone, or they can do it in combination with other tax entities. So that base value, if you flip to the next slide, is created in the year in which it's established. Now, this particular TERS was established at the end of last year, so last year's official value is the base value. It's about $16 million on the 247 acres, roughly, of specific property that's included in the only TERS number one. So all new tax revenue generated off of the increase off that value is put into the fund. The value of the taxation off of the base continues to go to the general fund of the participating entities without any reduction. But only the taxes attributable to the new development that's occurring goes into the TERS fund. Generally, the developer takes the risk and will pay for the cost of infrastructure, housing, other improvements. In this particular TERS, you have a large industrial developer, Tower, as well as a development company, Only Development Company, partnering together to bring about new housing stock and to bring about economic growth and development of industry and new jobs, and a commitment of over $50 million into the community of private funds to make this all happen. But it can't happen without the partnership of the taxing entities to make it more cost effective and to distribute that cost over time, especially to let people be able to come in and afford new houses and be able to move into Olney and not just commute every day, and grow Olney as a city with new families, with new roots. Now, that reimbursement can happen over time, or the city, at its discretion, can issue a number of instruments like a anticipation note, C of O, other things, to fund specific pieces of it that may need funding up front, like the housing affordability program. And we're talking with the city about that. But the funding is limited both to time and money. So when a TERD is created, there has to be a budget, or there should be a budget, that specifically lays out what improvements and what benefits will be made, and what benefits to the economy will be incurred by the development and by the TERDs, and how long it'll take for that to happen, the build out, the schedule, and what the ramp up of tax value should be projected over that period of time, and therefore the increment generated. This TERS has done all that, and it's all contained in the documents that you have. Our firm's been doing this for over 30 years, and we've gotten to the point where we're very conservative, but our projections are pretty darn accurate. And we like to under-promise and over-deliver on how they work out. Due to the challenges of attracting new jobs in Olney and bringing people into Olney to live, this TERS is necessary to establish a new baseline and to provide new housing stock, and to bring about renovation to downtown and cultural experiences and things that are needed to rejuvenate the city and bring the economy back into it, bring families back into it, and that's the goal of this specific project. Because of the challenges, it is a 45-year TERS. However, it will terminate upon completion of the obligation if that occurs before the 45 years. Some of the advantages of using a TERS is that it doesn't create a new layer of tax or obligation on a homeowner or taxpayer. And no one in the city is affected by it who's paying taxes generally. It doesn't affect the city's general fund, your current budget, or the county's. It only affects what money is generated in the future off the development that's spurred by this particular project. And then that is set aside to pay for the cost of the development. We're flipping over to slide 8, and I'm going through some little quick, I know you all had briefings on this before, but if you needed to stop and go over everything, I'm happy to. And slide 8 is the sample TERS structure. It's just a pictorial depiction of what I already talked about. In the first year, which is indicated by that slide, your base value is established, which has been done in this case. Your raw land, in this case 10 separate tracts totaling 247 acres, are set out, and those are identified by the tax office as being within the TERS. And then construction begins. As construction begins, and normally there's on PowerPoints, I flip through them, so excuse my fumbling with one good hand. And development starts to occur, that tax base grows, and as it grows, that tax revenue is set aside and put into a special fund that is managed and controlled by a board of directors appointed by, in this case, the city, the county, and any other taxing entity, and also the state senator and state representatives serve on that board as a matter of right or their designee to oversee the process and make sure everything's done according to the plan. It's all transparent, subject to the Open Meetings Act, Open Governance Act, Open Records Act, and the Public Finance Act. After full build out, when everything is said and done, the new taxes that are generated, 100% of them flow to the tax entities that participated on infinitum, perpetually. And so it actually helps you ramp up your tax base and have future income in the future that you wouldn't have received had the TERS not occurred. And I'll show you an example of that on the slide coming up here. And that term, the zone terminates upon full construction of the term or whenever the financial requirements are paid off, whatever occurs first. So with regard to the city of Olney, TERS number 1, if you look at the little number on the bottom of page 14, or slide 14, there's a map that indicates the exact locations of each tract that are included in the zone. And those maps are also available at City Hall. There's a big one there. I'm sorry we didn't bring it today. But you'll see a number of different tracts, and each have a specific purpose to spur economic development. For example, the top green one by the water tower site in Olney is for new housing stock for first-time home buyers. About 75 lots will go there. For example, the bottom purple one, that's a new development for a higher-end housing. So we're taking care of helping build up the entire aspect of the economy in every sector of it. Entry-level housing, move-up housing, executive housing. The pink indicates where the industrial expansion will occur, as does the blue. And the purple across from the pink one, that's going to be about 27 acres of additional infill housing and some fourplex type housing to encourage workers to locate it only stay there while they find a home to live in, purchase that home and plant their roots in the city. There's also some tracks downtown. The buildings will be rehabilitated, new businesses, restaurants, and things that will bring about new cultural experiences we brought into the city to revive the downtown area. Some of the benefits for the tourists under the plan. And again, it's very well laid out. Currently, a lot of these properties are not even in the city limits, so there's a question about whether they are or not because the records of the tax office weren't kept very clearly. This tourist under the program, the private landowners are all petitioning for voluntary annexing on all of the tracts. They'll all come into the city. There'll no longer be the obligation to maintain of the county. It'll shift to the city and the tours, and all those tracts will officially be in the city and subject to full taxation. The 247 acres will see economic growth throughout the city. There'll be 131 new high-quality single-family homes, 13 of those entry-level homes, another 73 first-time home buyer homes for mid-range home ownership, 37 large lot executive homes, and 16 duplexes I mentioned earlier for general workforce and transitional housing while people move into the community. In addition, and I'm particularly excited about this, we've done it in a lot of other cities, it works very well. There'll be money set aside under Chapter 311. Housing affordability can be done in the zone or anywhere in the city, which creates the zone. And so funds from this particular project will be used to encourage housing affordability. And how that lays out is this. There'll be about $6 million set aside to help facilitate home ownership and only for city, county, and hospital employees, because each of those entities are projected to participate, teachers, factory employees, first responders, and others, to help bring about more population in the city, and population that other people in the city rely on for educating children, taking care of emergencies, staying well and healthy, and being protected and having public service. There'll be over $14 million of new industrial building expansions, renovations, and there'll be hundreds of new jobs created, not to mention construction jobs created in the process. There'll be upgrades to the existing city's water system, roads, drainage infrastructure, and other improvements. And as I said, redevelopment of downtown. The bottom line is this project is created to retain existing residents and encourage new families to move and plant roots in Olney and make it their home. Let's look at the numbers on slide 17. The city of Olney has already agreed to participate. They've created the zone. It's a 45-year term. Years 1 through 10, they're setting aside 100% of the new property tax increment built up by the development, so it pays for itself. Years 11 through 20 goes down to 75%, 21 through 45 to 50%. Now, the estimated increment received off that new development that would not occur without the TERS is about $46.8 million. The estimated participation is about $27.2. And during that same period of time, there'll be $19.5 additional million put into the budget of the city as a result of the new development occurring, which will more than pay for itself. By contrast, the county and the hospital districts already approved their participation in a recent meeting, so they're actually have already signed their local. We're asking the county to basically do the same thing the city is doing. Because the county's tax rate is different, the numbers are lower. The estimated amount of new increment or new tax base created is about $26.1 million. The amount of participation projected is about $16.3, and roughly $10 million of new revenue will come into the county during the term of the TERS. By contrast, after the TERS is completed and you're at full increment, the city will continue to enjoy about $1.8 million a year of additional budgeted revenue on infinitum, and it'll go up every year as those houses and buildings and industries appreciate in value. For the county, it'll be about $1.1 million a year of additional revenue. Year after year, you'll continue to get after the TERS is finished, and it'll escalate in value. And by contrast, up in the red box, if the TERS was not done, and you look and forecast the next 45 years in the existing conditions without the economic development effort, the city would have only received about $12.8 million in the 45 years, as opposed to $46 million in additional taxes. The county would have only received about $8.7 over 45 years off that 254 acres, as opposed to $26 million in additional taxes. And you can see what in the red box what you would have received year after year after that. instead of getting 1.1 million, you'd be at 314,000. So you can see how this not only helps our economic development, but it helps you build a solid, sustainable budget and new tax base for your community and all those people outside the TERS to have more funds for funding your budget. All the things that you were congratulated on this morning for doing and providing to the community, you have more funds to do it, and you keep up with inflation. So, that all being said, where are we at on the timeline? The steps to provide these benefits is on this sheet, shows the two annual calendar layouts. The petition from the landowners requesting creation of TERS, annexing the property, et cetera, that's been done. All the notices have been published. Public hearings have been conducted. The first and second reading of the creation ordinance has been done. The TERS is established. The hospital district has already acted on their local and made their board appointment. So now we're at a point where we're asking the county to receive this briefing, and we're very grateful to be able to give it to you. And then at the following meeting, you have to consider approving the interlocal agreement to make your board appointments and also make your level of commitment to contribution. And I did make a mistake here. I put March 23rd being today and the next meeting being April 9th, but my error, it's actually the week after that because you have it on the second Monday. Once that's done, then the city council would come and meet probably around the 13th of April and appoint the rest of the board members and consolidate the board to have the meeting to approve the final project plan, the financing plan. And then the council will adopt that plan formally and make it a part of the interlocal agreements. It will not vary much from what you have now at all. In fact, the law says it can't. And you have a copy of the project plan and financial plan in front of you at your stations there. And then we'll start implementing that plan with the housing affordability program, the job creation. And then we continue to operate under the control and vision and supervision of the tax entities, primarily the city. And we give you annual briefings on the status, what money's been spent, whether we're ahead or behind the schedule, and you're completely kept up to date with everything. And of course, we file annual reports with the state comptroller reporting the financial condition and how the progress is going on the project. That is a summary of what we have and what we're asking for. Again, the next slide just shows those next steps, and I'd be happy to answer any questions. I know there was one question in briefing, so I've been talking to you. You guys had a concern that you wanted to make sure that on the board that's created under the statute, because it includes the state senator and state representative, and one board appointment from each tax entity that participates, for example, one from the county, one from the hospital district, you want to make sure that there was a larger number of representatives that represent the taxing entity's interest, the governmental interest, rather than the private property interest. In recognition of that, and no one has an objection to it, what we've done in section 4.13 in our local, which is in front of you, is make an amendment to it that would allow you not only to make one appointment by right of statute, but also to nominate a second board member by the county. And that board member then be appointed by the city. Technically, under this type of terms, unlike the city initiated terms, where a member can be anyone in the county or the city. Under this particular statute, a board member in order to serve, unless they're an appointee of the tax entity, the one, has to be an owner of property in the zone or an employer agent of an owner of property in the zone. And so to facilitate your request, the landowner that's the primary sponsor, Tower, has agreed to do an agency letter for the limited purpose of making sure your nominee, whoever it may be, has agency to satisfy the statutory requirement and be appointed by the city as a board member and serve in that time. So that is the general terms of the program, and what we're asking you for today is just to participate on the same level as the city is doing.
So what level is the hospital participating?
So the hospital's at a slightly lower level because they had recent bond issuance, and I'm sure you're all aware of the financial things they're facing. And so they start off at 75% instead of 100, and they step down on a pro rata basis to that, where the city and the county start at 100 and step down over time.
So they're going 75, 50, 25?
I believe that's correct, yes.
Okay. And then so it's 247 acre TERS. how many acres do we anticipate are gonna be new acreage and annexed into the city of Alma?
There's quite a bit, actually. Their entire, if you look at the track map, all of the property down by the golf course that has the new roads and infrastructure and homes, that's all annexed, that's on the larger tract. Some of the industrial property, it's at the south end of 79 there where the tower plant is, all that stuff to the south. That's all being annexed. It's currently not clear if it's in the tax rolls or not. It's not being picked up by the tax authority. That's all being brought into the city. So all that goes off of property that the county and their commissioner has to deal with, roads and drainage and things like that, and comes into the city. And the TERS will be required to do the upgrades to drainage roads, water, sewer, et cetera.
So, and I know it's hard to know exactly because Graham's got the same problem to where they're not really sure everything is technically in the city or not.
Right.
And I think almost every city has that problem. Rue, what's your estimate as far as how much new acreage is gonna get annexed into Almy? Is it half of it, or is it 25% of it, or what's gonna be, what do you think?
Majority of that, in that map is currently out and it's gonna be voluntarily annexed in. The
So
property-
most of it.
The property up on the north side of town, next to the water tower,
Mhm.
on Highland Drive, that's currently in.
Okay.
One of those other tracks,
Exhibit 5.
that's exhibit.
So that's in already.
5 is already in.
Yes, sir.
Correct.
What about track 10, is that in?
So track 10 is not in, and track 10 is an unusual situation because that property was transferred recently, and so the owner is not a part of the TERS, even though it's included. When you do a TERS like this, the owners of the petitioning owners of the property can include up to 49% more than they own, basically. So we
Okay.
put the yellow one in so it can be brought in for the increase in tax revenue. But you see down to the purple one down at the bottom, which is exhibit 4,
Uh-huh.
that's 108 acres. That's not in.
So that's currently not in?
Correct.
Track 1 is not in right now.
That is correct. That's
And then what
correct.
about so is the pink, the pink track 1, is that tower land that's not in?
More than,
Tower.
yeah, 2/3 of that is not in, it will be coming. The entire bottom part of that is not in, and half of the top
This and
part of it
this?
is not in.
I'm assuming that's in.
That's in.
So we get the yellow, the pink, and the purple? Just
Yes.
Those 3 tracks there?
Yes.
And is track 2, the blue one, that's in, isn't it?
No, track 2 is actually, it's actually not.
That's not in, okay.
That's one of the ones that's in question, because it's technically, it was bought through the Texas Department of Agriculture
Uh-huh.
program, and it was originally Knowles Door Company, and that basically, the tax rolls is one of the ones that don't show it as being in, although there's taxes being paid, but technically it's not in, so that's one of those getting correct as well.
So it's over half the acreage.
Yes,
It's gonna
yes,
be-
yes,
it's
yes.
that's a material change to the city.
108 plus 20 plus, plus about 50, so it's quite a bit.
The nice thing about it is, the way I understand it, is you can voluntarily annex, and then after about 20 years, you can't, I don't know if you can then there's,
These properties will not be able to be disannexed because it's contractual at this point. Once this is
Contractual.
done, and the petitions for annexation are all conditioned upon all this happening,
yeah,
but once the city's approved their agreement, y'all approved yours, hospitals already approved theirs, it's done. It cannot be undone. So the landlord can't come back and say, we're gonna get out. And they have an obligation, contractual obligation to invest and spend the money to make this happen and use their best efforts to do it. So they're making a big commitment to the city and the county.
yeah.
Private landowner will have an obligation in this just as much as you will, right?
More, the private developer that's sponsoring this, that owns private land, their total financial commitment is much greater than the collective tax entities commitment. Yeah, they're probably spending, I would think, with everything all in, 75 million or more. So, and that didn't include the houses that we built. things like that. That's transitional obligation because at some point someone's gonna buy that house. But the risk is there when it's bought and when it's built, till it's sold. So it's actually more than that.
But all the improvements are gonna be this, I think, the taxing issue we had before.
That's correct, they'll all be taxable, they'll all be on the roll.
Yeah, once a house sells that you build, it will go on the tax roll,
100%.
100%.
And that'll be the base rate from there to the.
It'll be very well off of that, yes. So, we really appreciate y'all's openness to listening to this and wanting to participate in it. I know I've spoken to a few before. I'm really excited to see what happens with this TERS and how it changes the complexion of the city and makes it rejuvenate and revives it. And also the other TERS y'all already agreed to participate in, how that can bring in new industry primarily, new opportunities on a much, it's a little more speculative, but it gives the tool to really attract people to Young County, specifically Only, that may have gone somewhere else with their business. Because every other city in Texas is creating incentives and kind of things to try to attract business to them. And this gives Only a fighting chance in that competition to bring in more development and more people. Keep the schools vibrant, keep them growing, and keep the community vibrant and keep it growing.
But if you're not growing, you're dying.
Amen. The only caveat to that, sometimes I was growing, I had to shrink a little bit to stay alive, so yeah. With population, you're absolutely right.
All right, I have this on the agenda for our next meeting to actually vote on, so this is informational only. And, Rue, or y'all have it on your, not tonight's agenda, but the next agenda also?
Yes, just regarding the timeline, so after you guys, if you agree to participate, then the city will then follow up after you take action and approve the paperwork, and then as David alluded to, the board will be assembled and confirmed by the city council, and then we'll be ready to move forward. The hospital district has already nominated their board, and our meeting tonight will confirm, I guess that may be for TERS 2, so we had two of them going, but just trying to follow the timeline and do it in the.
Who are they putting on?
Ron Rogers.
Okay. Oh, we've heard of him. We've heard of him. He's shady character.
Shady characters.
This little sheet gives you the timeline, it's just one sheet, that like, you want to follow the timeline on, this is what the timeline looks like. And so it shows when they'll take action based on when they'll take action. It currently is scheduled for the day you look at approving this agreement, April 13th would be the first reading of the ordinances. This was projected, approving those agreements in locals and the ordinance approving the annexation and development agreements, and then the board will meet to finalize the project plan and will come back for approval. And then it's off and running.
Okay.
Okay.
Any more questions?
Thank you
All right,
very much.
we'll see you in 2 weeks.
All right,
Yeah,
appreciate it. Thank you.
I did have one.
Sure.
We got county property going in, being annexed into the city. Once it goes on, it comes on at a city rate of tax, not a county rate.
Well, vote.
Because we're not gonna gain on that.
Yes.
That'll be the city of Albany will actually gain the
Yes.
extra tax revenue.
We're unchanged.
Right, we will be unchanged. So this is just to help the city of Albany gain tax revenue again.
Yes, sir, and then you'll both benefit once it's all done, because as that redevelopment occurs, you'll both be getting the additional tax base that grows
Right.
off of the land. You're right. Absolutely right.
Thank you.
Thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate your time.
The next agenda item's about Only also, which is item number 11, ratify resolution number 136, fiscal year 2026, regarding Young County, Texas, authorizing a grant application administration for creating a polling location. This is, this is a resolution regarding a grant that I've applied for, it's a Homeland Security grant, to get some money to turn part of the Alney Annex into a polling location. Not necessarily to be the primary polling location, because the room would be pretty small, but for the situation we had this last time in the early election, where we ended up having a conflict in dates between the city's use of the Civic Center and our use of the Civic Center, and it resulted in 1 week less of early voting. So let me read this resolution. It's a resolution of Young County, Texas, authorizing a grant application and administration for creating a polling location. Whereas Young County, Texas values our citizens' right to vote and recognizes the need for accessible polling locations to allow our citizens to exercise their right to vote. And whereas creating a new polling location will significantly improve our citizens' access to vote, thus helping to ensure that all eligible citizens have an equal opportunity to cast their vote, which is fundamental to a healthy democracy. And whereas the Office of the Governor offers grant funding opportunities to create and improve polling locations. Now therefore be it resolved by the Commissioners Court of Young County, Texas, that grant application authorization, that the Young County Judge is hereby authorized to prepare, execute, and submit an application for grant funding to create and improve a polling location in Olney, Texas. The Young County Judge is authorized to accept such grant funding if awarded on behalf of Young County, Texas. 3, Young County Auditor shall be responsible for administration of the grant, including compliance with all applicable federal, state, and local requirements. You're welcome, Cheryl. 4, the Young County Judge is hereby authorized to terminate the grant agreement if necessary in accordance with its terms and conditions. And 5, Young County will gladly accept the grant if awarded and commits to using the funds to create and improving a polling location in the county. Any questions on that? We have a motion to ratify this resolution.
So moved.
All right, we have a motion from Commissioner Cresswell. Do we have a second from Commissioner Craig? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Awesome.
Check book.
So the grant application has been sent in, and we'll see if we get lucky.
Let's take a short break.
All right, we can take a 5-minute recess. Thanks. Thank you, man. I'm excited about Despite what this guy says. Despite Alan.
Yes, what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, sir.
Appreciate that. We'll check. I got
Here's the run. There.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
You betcha.
Want to go first, Mayor?
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
You got a strict around there.
I'm gonna go find out. The contractor they're using has sole responsibility. And see, I had lunch with the commissioner here 2 weeks ago. And my comment then was, shop around, find different vendors, but mobile phone of Texas is never a first time go when they do a contract. They never get things operated with it. And what is the contract? Where is this performance metrics in this contract? And if there are none, that's why the gentleman that runs it whoops along being a very well chosen word. So I can get you in 10 specs. You know, what you're probably looking at is, actually, we have an $10 million line the sheriff's department would give the county to use. And it's 100 foot. Because we've gone over and looked at it. Probably needs them, but smaller things. So I've done propagation maps of the south part of the county, and there's a lot of problems. You know, we just,
great hills, but there's enough lowlands to cause a problem. The issues they're trying to resolve right now is two. One, city police are not picking up the communications from Southern Mountain on the 300. They're just blind spots here in the city. So they are using their analog system.
Did you forward, email with the attachment?
Elizabeth Fire Department and the Black Canyon Towers is not covering the area of Elizabeth Fire Department.
I got two.
They get in there and they can't talk to anybody. So they have, and they have a hard time getting the word out. So my thing would be if you get in and the sun is right now, the fire chief, go out there, find their actual worst case bills, find the highest grade. And do it. Well, Gabe has pointed out more than once that there's this large tower right there.
Oh, for sure, last time we did it, I found that's dresser in my eye.
Tower.
I took my contact out and see how fuzzy it was.
You have one report, $100,000 concrete. You need $100,000 of property around it, so you can run the guy. Pick your poison. And only
I might have a small concussion.
now, because they're sitting out.
I don't really wanna go back anymore.
I'm in a little
And we do.
Yes, mostly ours is
We
closed.
had
Hi, Stacy.
where someone had taken it, like,
What you want?
corner of the dresser. I finished the one day for the first time. I ever done.
Yeah.
and we've only.
Sleepwalking there, and I don't know if it's for me just
Because
not wanting to lay down and sitting up at night or something, and I'm moving around.
You need to get your girlfriends to handcuff you down and not uncuff you.
Well, I do have to like the bathroom once
They want to use something.
at least once.
So I,
I've started dating nurses there. She was ready for the break too.
I can,
Well, I might as well pass some of these out.
I mean, you go over there and you look at the guy's tower, he's gonna have, right, now, probably run 25, the most common personal tower. He's probably looking at cages.
One of these over here.
Does he assemble a tower or build? Yeah, but does he put it on the ground?
Do you mind running in and telling Tina we're ready to go?
I mean, no, I don't mind.
Tower studios.
I'll face that.
If we try to get someone to find a tower.
They're not, we ready to argue too bad. I'm ready to
Find any opportunity for someone to find a tower.
Damn, when I'm done, you talk about her.
Back to.
I can't imagine how that got Thank you.
She's wrapping up the phone call.
Yes, she did. That was a chiropractor. I mean, it was bad enough my head bounced back. Like you ever see one of them good knockout punches? You, in my Mayfield, that's what I took. Except I gave it to myself.
He hates imagery.
I'm so happy. I'll be so ready for Tuesday night, Wednesday morning when they do that. So it'll quit.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Last time it quit immediately after they got everything back in rhythm. The what? They think it's whenever they pull the heart out to do those bypasses, they think they damaged the nerve. And they're gonna go back, we're going back in, in April and trying to find the nerve itself and the blade.
So at that point, there's just like kill it.
Yeah, what they'll do is burn it
Yeah.
and get that nerve real quick and set everything off wrong. But when you're walking around in your sleep, I wake up and I'll be against a wall or something, walking into a wall. Don't know how long I've been standing.
Put bumpers up on your bed.
I actually put a rope on my arm where when I got up there, I'm Velcro myself last night.
One of those things that when you get up out of the chair and it goes off.
That way, if I was sitting up
Feel
there,
it? There was smoke coming up the other
I'm like a
day.
full crash.
You know where they
We just wear a helmet with a shield on.
Well,
She was on the
there
phone,
was one,
I told
couple
her,
days
let her
before
know.
that, right next to started a fire with a bunch of gas.
That's what she said.
I drove by
They said
that.
without it, it's
Cause I was on my way to the fire.
I texted that to Marshall while we were sitting in here.
Some property.
And then I turned around and Jimmy emailed it to herself too. That way I knew one of them would get me copies.
So I drove by there and take a look.
Oh, that must be-
Yeah.
And I didn't see
So I need
water.
to buy a button scanner to do this.
Dude, we got copies of this for everybody.
You make the
Anything
motion.
quick, we'll do
I
that.
mean, just for shelf like, yeah.
Oh, well,
Place
that's what
it
he said.
down.
we just go without it?
Take that for
No.
We got this, but
He's got it, he's ready.
he's gonna be on stage.
Us and the county, they have some.
Yeah, he can tell her
And so it was all right there.
which one, how much,
My son did everything right.
Okay, on that William P. Johnston, we're gonna draw it. Ernie used to do sod. The guy, freaking, Johnny Appleseed, I'm gonna go after him one more time. If I don't get a response, we're gonna find somebody else. I know, but that's us slaying it if I do that.
Okay, we ready?
We
All
don't-
right, we're gonna come back in. It is 10:45. Transitioning into item number 12, discuss and consider adding a headstone to the William P. Johnson Cemetery. So we have a request from a family of someone who's believed to be buried in the William P. Johnson Cemetery to put a headstone in there. I was able to talk to everybody on the preservation committee, and their thought is, when we put that back fence in, when we re-fenced the cemetery, we actually built it back a couple of feet from where it originally was. And the idea was possibly to put like a big granite memorial marker there. Now with the discovery that, or the closure, the removal of the parking lot, and that's gonna eventually be turned into grass, there's a lot more room to put that up later, you know, when we decide to do that. So the thought process from the preservation committee was to allow family members that wanted to put a headstone in there to put it along that back fence. There's absolutely no conflict. The ground penetrating radar showed that there's no conflict back there. There's no potentially unmarked grave that would be covered up. And it's kind of it'd be a good place for people that wanted to have a headstone in there.
Are you going up there to tell them what kind of headstone?
I think, you know, the answer is each one gets brought to Commissioner's Court, but I don't know, I'm kind of not inclined to tell them what kind of headstone, but
What I'm saying is it kind of stands up,
this one's laying, this proposal is laying flat
laying
down.
flat, that's what
Yeah.
I'm gonna say. Those are easier to keep and easier to maintain.
Yeah. Well, this one's laying flat down, it's tastefully done, it's, you know, The Preservation Committee thought it was a good idea. But the way our rules read, anything has to be brought to Commissioner's Court because it is county land. I'll make a motion to allow a headstone to be placed along the back fence line. I don't necessarily, I'm happy to leave it to them to figure out where they'd like to put it. But then what that will do afterwards is if other families wanted to do it, it's gonna leave a natural place to put it. Yeah.
If we have somebody come in and say there is a headstone in place where their family members buried that's aged and broken, would we allow those to be changed?
I think so, yeah. I haven't heard of anybody wanting to do that, but.
No, but it might happen.
I would, yeah. You know, unfortunately, there are only like about 7 spots in there where we know who's buried.
Yeah.
The rest of them are unknown, and then there's, even the way some of it's done, it's not even known that they're actually buried in there or not, but. All right, so I made a motion, Stacy's gonna second the motion, to approve allowing the headstone. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Item number 13, discuss and consider the purchase of a 2026 Chevrolet Silverado 3500 HD, financing with Investar, formerly First National Bank. Commissioner Cresswell's item.
Got the top lady right there, but just for example, the pickup we're selling has over 200,000 miles on it, so it's time to replace it.
You did check around here and
Yeah,
this one.
I went with the one in Weatherford. They were $5,000 cheaper once we pieced it together, how we wanted the truck, and a little bit better quality on the bumpers.
It's under the $100,000.
Yes.
So we're up to 100,000 now? That's nice.
Well, it makes it easier for these purchases.
Sure.
And so.
Are you making a motion?
I'm making a motion to purchase this pickup for Young County Precinct 1 to use.
Is there a second?
I'll say.
All in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Do we need to sign anything?
You do, and actually, I gotta get this original in on this first page, there's 2 places to sign.
Okay. Sure. Do we run it through the clerk first and then you get it, or give it to you and then you'll give it to her?
Yes. Gotta go scan that in pretty quickly.
There you go. All right, we'll move on to item number 14, discuss and consider bids received on a 2019 Chevrolet pickup, 3/4 ton and a backhoe, and a 30-foot flatbed with a dovetail trailer from Gov Deals.
Come ahead, young man.
Alright, good morning. So the 2014 Cat 416B backhoe, the winning bid was $26,200. For the 2019 Chevy Silverado 2500 HD, the winning bid was $8,300. And then for the Big Tex trailer, the 2004 Big Tex 25 GN gooseneck with dovetails was $5,050.
You happy with that, Stacy?
I'm happy with that. I put a $7,000 limit on the pickup. I think I put a 12 or can't remember what I put on that backhoe.
$14,000.
$14,000 for the reserve, and the Big Tex, I put a $2,000 reserve on it. Everything beat its reserves, so I make the motion that we accept all these bids.
Second from anyone? Second from Commissioner Craig. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Thank you. We'll move to item number 15, discuss and consider a 2017 Tahoe. It sold on Gov Deals March 9th, 2026, but the bidder did not pay. Consider
They're
options.
striking him off
Chase,
the
what are
list.
our options?
We can relist it on Gov Deals and have them go through it again as far as auctioning it off.
Whose Tahoe was this? Was sheriff's?
This was the sheriff's
Okay.
office.
So is there not, does Gov Deals not have any sort of protection for us for something like this?
They allow you to make a second offer, which we did, and we got the second high bid decline to make the purchase at $5,000.
Okay.
And from there, it's usually up to the board to either relist it or,
What's the sheriff want to do with this? Did he want to relist it?
he's wanting to sell it, so just.
I'd say let's just go back and go do it again and try.
There's that or sealed bids, and we usually do a little better with Gov Deals.
Okay, so
We got a bigger audience.
Jimmy's making a motion to try again.
We had a bigger auction.
I'll second that.
Okay. So Jimmy's made a motion and Stacy made a second. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. All right, let's try again. Item 16, discuss and consider purchasing a replacement for bulletproof gas for the county, bulletproof glass, excuse me, for the county dozer. Stacy, we've obviously talked about this before, but things have changed a little bit, so tell us what's going on.
Big one got pointed out to me, last weekend during that fire. That fire was running about 30 miles an hour. We were getting out there trying to cut fire guards as quick as we could. And toward the end of it, we busted the window out. But during the process, the fire truck's working side by side with it, spraying water. He had to get out and wipe the windows down two or three times with a paper towel if we put the cage back on to protect those windows, we're gonna wind up not being able to get to them to clean them off in that situation. The ash coming up and coating the windows, if you get that dozer wet, they need to be able to see. And at night, if you got the cage on, you can't see. During the day, you could see through the cage, but if you get water all over it, and get the ash caked on it, you're going to the same problem again, trying to get that cage open, trying to wipe it down. And if you're in front of a fire running 30 miles an hour, it becomes a safety issue. You already can't move, but I think 12 miles an hour top speed. Mm-hmm. And so if you wind up out in a situation where you can't see and you can't clean those windows quickly, it becomes an issue with just your safety of the person running that dozer.
How much have you priced the bulletproof glass?
The bulletproof glass is $6,725. I think the last window I bought was nearly $600 and something.
Was this parts and labor or just parts?
I think that'll be getting, he didn't say that's installed, but he did say that's what it is to get it.
You're talking about replacing all of them?
That's both doors and the front window up here. You don't gotta worry about the cages behind you. You've actually got a camera that you can back up with and see through in the cab with you. But those three front glasses, they need to be replaced with something more sufficient.
The only problem I have with the bulletproof glass is when it gets scratched, you can't see out of it, you can't fix it, you can't wipe it off. When it's tree scratches going through it, you can't see out of it.
Well,
For $600 of glass, you can get a lot of
You can get 11.
11 replacements for.
yeah,
you can
well,
see where you're going.
we've done 6 of them so far. 5 or 6 of them so far we've had to replace.
3.
Those three that you put in, we had the one that we had them fixed right up the start.
What do you see, like state dozers, what do they have on them?
We don't use bulletproof glass.
Do you know
It's
why?
just regular glass with
They
the
don't use
cage.
bulletproof?
No,
You can't see out of it when it gets scratched.
no. Yeah, once it's scratched up, it's scratched up, so.
And
Yeah, as far as being in front of the fire, you should never be in front of the fire. You should be working the flanks.
Will
of
you
the
tell
dozers.
us that?
I will.
Whenever we was out there, we couldn't go in on the back of the fire.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you just work the flanks until we get the head knocked down. So try not to get yourself in that position with bulletproof glass or not.
Well,
Whether
we
you're
just
not
had to
getting
go
burned
in
up, no
where we
matter how
went
good
in,
you see.
and that was where we could get to it.
Maybe we need some dozer training.
We
Precinct
can do
one's
that.
the only one that's knocked any glass out of that thing.
Don't send y'all out, I haven't seen too many people out fighting fires out of the precinct one.
I personally think the bulletproof glass is not worth it. in my opinion. When
We
we
don't
have,
think it's worth it at all.
no, when we have over 100 dozers in the Forest Service and none of them have bulletproof glass. And
Well, then my second suggestion is, I mean, yeah, y'all got 100 dollars in there. If you knock the glass out of one in the middle of a fire, what do you do with it?
they'll just keep on trucking because they're going to keep.
Do they keep on trucking or do they pull back because they can't stay in that smoke?
No, that's why we work the flank, not getting the head.
Well, yeah, but
So-
that we didn't have an option this week.
Yeah.
So
So
my
there is
turn-
circumstances, I understand that, but I don't think
There's
that,
a cage where it's hinged to make them easier to.
But you, at night, you can't see out of it. I don't care if you hinge it, clean it,
Right.
whatever, that cage, once you get after dark, you can't see. I mean,
Do
you
they have
can't,
cages on the doors of the fire? They
Yes.
do?
yes.
do they got slots or what cut?
There's just like the big 2-inch grid square.
See, ours ain't that big.
So,
There needs to be some modifications to our cage.
Why don't we fix the cage? It sounds like there's no amount of money that can fix our precinct one dozer driver.
Well, yeah, there is, we can send it to any precinct that wants to respond on Saturdays and Sundays.
Okay, so the cage on the dozer, was that a custom cage or is that
It came with the dozer already in place. It's,
I wonder if there's a way to make some changes to it.
I'm sure there is.
we've looked and talked about it, but I'm just trying to figure out what's our best option here.
'Cause I assume it's
Because
got-
if we do this, don't do this, I wanna order, those 3 glasses to keep on hand anyway. Because those are the ones you're
I don't
gonna
have a
knock
problem with
out.
that.
No, that's.
Can we can we install it, like, do we?
We have Scott install it.
We
the
mean
last
me.
time.
Yeah.
Say
All right, you better
get
get blood line on standby too after I lose about 3 pints of blood cutting things out.
Okay, so,
Are they glued in or?
Yeah, they're-
I mean, this is gonna come out of emergency management either way.
well, not if you keep breaking them out, Stacy.
Well,
No, this would come out of
Would rock
emergency
strips make them
management.
better, easier to get in and out?
if we're not gonna do this, I'd like to order
What's that?
the 3 front glasses when we walk out of here today.
You know,
No.
where you pull the,
They're not designed like that. They have to be glued.
they have to be glued.
And then-
Okay, so, I feel like consensus is that not to go with the bulletproof glass.
And maybe.
How do we feel about getting?
Modify the cage maybe to.
Yeah.
What? How about making a
I
motion
could,
that
I
we?
could try
that
to
we get-
modify the cage.
With,
Yeah.
and look and see what Forest
And then-
Service is using and actually copy their cage or see where they're getting
And
their.
honestly,
cages.
if it comes down, if it's a hazard at night, then you don't need to be operating at night. We just need to shut it down. Because typically, we won't run dozers and, heavy brush at night anyway, without a swamper that's ahead of you pointing things out. So if it's coming to where it's, a danger to you, then we need to pull that dozer out after dark.
Well, my opinion is, if we're cutting fire guard and it gets dark, we don't wanna just leave it. I mean, if the freaking forestry service ain't there or anybody else on scene, we need to keep going, whether it's dark or not.
Yeah, as far as-
We need to have that option.
Yeah.
Whether we unpin the doors and throw the cages off in the middle of a pasture and go back and find them the next day, we need to make it to where we can either remove them completely, We can't run with them wide out.
Yeah.
Because it'll just rip everything off. But we either need to make it to where we can remove them things in a situation in a hurry and make them where we can see through them, or we need to do something where we don't gotta worry about the glass, because we're not gonna stop in the middle. If a fire starts at 4 o'clock in the evening and it's getting away from us and we're cutting fire, we're not gonna turn around just because it gets dark. We're gonna finish cutting that fire cord.
But what if we break your window again, then you're just gonna leave?
If we can break the window again, we're gonna have some on hand after this.
So there you go, we order new windows, we modify the guard, save a bunch of money, and at night you need a swamper no matter what. You shouldn't be operating without a swamper at night.
Well, I tried to operate with one, but when I was on that Albany fire, I look around, I'm the only person still on the fire, cutting fire guard. There's the fire chief and me out there, and he can't get where I'm at. So, I
All
mean.
right, so Stacy, are you making a motion to obtain a replacement set of glass, full set of replacement of glass?
Yeah.
And to look into modifying that front cage?
Yes.
Is that your motion?
And I will look into seeing what we need to do to make it modified to where we can take it off if
Yeah.
need be.
Absolutely, that
In
goes
a
into
hurry.
the model, yeah. All right, do we have a second to Stacy's motion? We'll go give that to Scott. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, I will order the glass this evening then.
And pay for it out of civil defense.
Yeah. We should have plenty of money there.
Is it civil defense or emergency
Well,
management?
Same thing.
Okay.
Just, you say tomato, I say tomato.
Oranges.
All right, item number 17, discuss and consider burn restrictions. Hey Jared, how close are we to needing to go back into a burn ban?
I think we're good right now. I mean, we got some wind gusts coming up this weekend, but the humidities are supposed to be up and the temperature's supposed to be down, so. I mean, we had a red flag warning yesterday, we had that fire, and we kept it to 1/4 of an acre.
Tell everybody about the hotspot satellite warning.
So, one of the things I've been working on with National Weather Service, mostly Norman, because they were the more cooperative of the National Weather Services. They don't cover Young County, unfortunately, but I have a 11 county district, so they cover, I think, 4 of the counties within our district. They have been pushing out hotspot notifications, so if they have a guy that just sits there and watches the satellite, if he sees a hotspot, he sends me a text message with a Google link, and you can click it, and it takes you straight to the Google Maps, you hit go, and it's gonna take you to where that fire is at. There's been times where we've gotten to the fire and engaged the fire before the first 911 call even came in. So people haven't even seen the smoke yet when we already got the notification. The smallest one we've seen so far on satellite's been a half acre, so they can pick it up pretty fast when they're watching. The one yesterday, National Weather Service, Fort Worth, is finally coming on board. We're a little slow on it, but we're getting there. They sent out a hotspot notification, sent Clint out there, and it turned out to be a controlled burn. But that was a
Unreported.
Yes, unreported. So that was a heat signature that popped up that they noticed and notified us of. So once we kind of stroke their ego a little bit, every time I get one, I tell them, yeah, good job, So we'll hopefully start watching those satellites more and start pushing that information out to me sooner. And as soon as I get them, I'll drop them in their text threads.
Yeah.
But
So the way it worked in practice was Jared sent it on the chief's text group and said, hey, this is what I'm seeing. Send it out there and ask Clint to send someone out there. Had a link to where it was. Clint, I don't know if it was Clint himself or if he sent someone out there, within, 30 minutes or so, he had somebody out there and identified that the heat signature was legit, that it was a fire, but it was under control and it just was an under control burn. But it was pretty neat to watch that in real time because it happened quick. It was like boom, boom, boom.
I'm continuing to work with them. Another thing we're trying to push out, and it's been real slow going, it's called Field Maps. It's an app. So when I get on scene, I get my 360. I can mark water sources. If I cut a fence or don't cut a fence, we can mark that. So everyone that's responding to that incident can already see where the cut fences are, where the water sources are,
where a pipe is, hazards and things like that. On my end, I can do it with the Forest Service right now, and I'm trying to get it to where it's on y'all's end as well, so we can get each one of our responders access to that app and really narrow, hammer things down instead of cutting one guy's fence, 8 times a week.
Yeah.
So sometimes it happens, sometimes you just have to get out of there.
Sometimes you weave in and out with the dozer
So,
on them fences, works real good.
but that's another thing we're working on, other tools.
It's called fuel maps.
Field maps, yes, sir.
All right, so no action?
No action.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
All right, so Jimmy, motion, Alan, second, all in favor? None, any opposed? Motion passed, we are adjourned.
Hey, Jared.
Yes, sir.
I know we're supposed to start at the back and work our way to the front, but I don't think